Hey, what up, people? Welcome to the Best of Everything, and I am Ruben Paul. And across from me, you guys know the routine.
Yeah.
Looking really Mexican-y today.
Yeah, a little Mexican. Oh, you know what? Let me.
Yeah, button it all the way up to the top.
Let's go to the top.
Hey, man.
I should go get my
how's the
shades.
Latino tours coming, man? Anything
You know
up?
what, bro? Not that good, homie.
Why? What's going on,
I'm not
man?
getting any calls. Like, I'm thinking, like, bro, what happened? I should have had a full calendar already, right?
I know, man. How's your Cinco de Mayo looking?
Man, it's embarrassing, homie. Like, I don't even have a date yet for Cinco de Mayo, Because, oh, man, I do look Mexican. Look at that. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my brother, Jonny Sanchez. How are you, man?
I'm good. How come the back pops up like that?
I don't know, dude, but there's some people listening to this that have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Oh, yeah, the back of my collar was
okay.
like had a little
Are we going to
hump
get
over
into your socks and all that stuff again too, man?
Good news. I forgot to.
Oh, my God.
Okay, remember a couple weeks ago, guys? I'm sick of the socks that have spandex in them. They're making the socks almost with like 5-10% spandex.
Bring this up, man?
Whereas when it's dry, after I dry them, they're this big, but they stretch past my thighs. Okay, look like a Catholic schoolgirl when I wear them. Anyway, so
really,
I found
you look like a Catholic schoolgirl.
I found.
Jesus, Johnny.
Can I finish my point?
Okay, go ahead.
I found some good old. That's what you get. That's what you get.
All right,
He's always giving me shit. Hey, tonight, Johnny, be professional. Put
right.
your volume down.
Whatever.
Actually, you know what? I'm just putting my volume down right now.
Hey, Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
So go ahead, finish your
All
thought.
right. So I found some socks that have a lot more cotton than spandex in them at TJ Maxx.
And
You guys never heard of TJ Maxx?
we got it, John. I just gotta ignore it.
Oh,
yeah.
It's MEXX.
I get it.
Yeah. And the TJ stands for Tijuana. So I went to.
You're such an idiot.
Tijuana. Man, let me have it, man. Some of them didn't know where I was going with that.
I know, Leslie. Leslie just said, "Ruben, you started it. I shouldn't even put it."
But anyway,
right.
just so everybody understands, and I'm happy. Everybody, I found some socks with a lot of cotton in them, and they're not spandexy.
Okay.
Okay.
Congrats, man.
Because I know a lot of you were concerned.
Yeah. So it's Wednesday.
Yeah,
The
you
5th
just
of
had
February.
Ruby Tuesday yesterday.
Yeah,
That's
I just
why
had Ruby Tuesday.
He's in Ruby Tuesday mode.
I was great last night.
Yo, what's up, man? What's up, everybody? Welcome
Shout
to
out
Ruby Tuesday.
Tiffany Haddish, who came through last night.
Oh, she ready? She ready?
Oh, okay. That's not exactly how you nay, but all right.
Oh yeah.
So
I do the opposite. Remember, I yan. So you're supposed to, I push instead of pulling. So I go like that. I do the yan.
All right.
He ready?
Okay. All right. Tiffany Haddish came through.
Awesome.
She was great. Craig Robinson came through. Godfrey, Chris Spencer.
Was Craig originally on the show?
No, he just hit me up and asked could he come through. So he was a surprise special guest, and Tiffany was a surprise special guest.
Oh, nice!
I'm telling you guys.
Yes.
You know, we get great pop-ins at Ruby Tuesdays. Dion Cole came the week before, and it's just great to have your friends come through, and it's great for the audience.
Yeah, man.
To see people.
Did you know Tiffany was coming by? Did she give you a little hint or something?
A little heads up.
Oh, just a little bit.
Yeah, a little heads up.
And sometimes you never know that
because sometimes things change and everything,
and
but
they can't come by.
But
or
for the
whatever.
most part, when they hit me and say they're going to come through, usually they're coming through to work on some stuff. But she came through. Of course, Godfrey was on the show. He's in town from New York. But it was great. Tiffany and Craig Robinson went up and he played and she sang. And
cool.
So
cool.
It was fun. Fahim. Anwar was very funny last night.
Great.
Amy Miller was everybody was great. Man.
Yeah. It's always a good lineup.
Yeah, and I'm proud of that. Who else was on the show? John Rudnitsky. That was on SNL.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he came into the show.
He's
Really
funny,
nice
dude.
guy, funny guy. I'm trying to think who else. Oh, Byron Bowers. Came through and was really funny last night too, and Chris Spencer. It was a stacked lineup. It was one of
yeah.
Usually,
man, that's a lot of comics.
Usually we don't book that many comics, but if if Craig Robinson calls you, you're
Yeah.
gonna put him on the show. If Tiffany
calls and says she ready,
if Godfrey, it's like, hey, I'm in town. You have to put him on the show.
Yeah.
So the good thing is, everybody's willing to cut their time down. I cut my time down.
That's what I was asking. I was wondering
man.
if.
But here's the thing.
You have to
and me and Johnny talk about this a lot. Well, a lot of times there's really no excuse. At a show like that it was 7 comics last night.
Yeah,
including not including myself.
Okay, so 8 altogether.
And the show started late.
Okay.
The show started at 9:55. I got it. I had Craig Robinson on stage by 11.
Sorry, man.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So do the math on that, dude.
Yeah, that was with 7.
So you know what I mean? So it was just, you can keep the show rolling.
I apologize.
Bless you. You can keep the show rolling and still give the audience a quality show. Now, once Craig and Tiffany got on, they went on for a long time.
And the audience isn't going to want to.
But I got all those comics on. Everybody, just cut it.
So they were all doing like 12 or something, 10 to 12?
Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So just got everybody on. And, of course, I did my stuff in between.
You did a little bit in between?
Just a little bit in between because, it's my show. I'm not just going to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it just helps for the mood in the night anyway. But it was a good night.
Well,
man.
that's awesome. Which means, and also too, once comics like Craig and Tiffany get on stage, the audience isn't going to be in a hurry to be leaving anyway. So they could have done an hour together.
Yeah,
and the audience would have been totally fine with that. No one's going to be looking at their watch or anything.
They did a lot of time, and Godfrey ended up not going on.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, he was still going to go on after.
He was still going to go on,
gotcha.
But after the singing, which I understand is like,
it's a different dynamic.
It should be an unwritten rule, and this is no offense to the musical comics on there, but me and you've talked about this. I think music should always go last.
Stan. Yeah, we've talked about this
always.
For numerous times, even on our podcast before. But just the music, the dynamic of music changes the room, and for some reason it should. I always I've always felt the same way. Like it should be.
And I do, as a host, I do take responsibility for it. I should have probably said, explained it to Craig, like, hey man, let's just put Godfrey up real quick
10, and then
because I feel bad about it. Isn't Chris Tucker a comic too? Absolutely, Chris Tucker is a comic. Leslie, known him for years, and he's actually done Ruby Tuesdays. I have to get him to come back and do it. But yeah, Chris Tucker got his start in stand-up comedy, got his big break on Def Comedy Jam, and the rest is kind of history from there. And he's actually on tour right now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I've been seeing him. Oh, that's funny. Cindy Claus. Cotton is so absorbent too.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Stan. Stan watched every episode of ours. Stan
thank
Felton
you, Stan.
from Tulare. I told you, man, representing Tulare.
Yeah.
California.
You guys who are watching, you can get this podcast on iTunes, Google Play,
Spotify,
anywhere that you can find podcasts.
And YouTube.
So, get the podcast, share it, tell people about it. It's greatly beneficial to us here, and we appreciate the support. But yeah, the show was great, and I got the nicest message, man. I'll read it to you, and it was from Amy Miller. And when you set out to do something, I know a lot of people just put on comedy shows, and we talk about this, and support live comedy wherever you can, because it needs to be supported. And there's a lot of great shows, and especially in LA, but they're across the country. So support live comedy whenever you get a chance. It's one of the best experiences you'll have going out. It's different than going to the movies or going to a club or a bar. You'll feel good. When I did Ruby Tuesdays, I did it with a specific purpose. I wanted to highlight diversity and always have a show that represented everyone.
Right.
Because I just think comedy is segregated. If you've listened to this podcast, you've heard me talk about it a lot. And this is from, over 20 years of experience in the business and working all the rooms. And there's nothing wrong with having
Latino night, Middle Eastern night.
Yeah, people need a place to work.
Sure.
Because there's not always a home on quote unquote
at
mainstream shows, aka white shows.
Yeah.
So when I decided to do Ruby Tuesdays, I just wanted to make it inclusive of everybody. And I know if we stick with this format, the audiences will start to reflect that.
Yeah.
So Amy Miller posted on Instagram last night. She goes, I love Ruby Tuesdays and Ruben Paul. And if you live in LA, you should go to that show. It's always a lineup and a crowd that I wish I could see all together everywhere else in LA all the time. But shit's fucked. Support the shows that represent the town.
Right.
Unless you live in like current day Portland or San Francisco, and then don't do that. But the point that she's making is sometimes things go unnoticed because you think it's a whole nother comedy show. But I do think Ruby Tuesdays is a special show because it's truly a mixed audience.
Yeah.
You go to certain rooms, it's all white.
Yeah.
You go to certain rooms, it's all white males or all Latino or all whatever, all black
Eastern
or whatever.
People, yeah.
And those shows are great.
It's great for stage time, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think it's something cool about having everybody in one room. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's great that she noticed that. It wasn't even a conversation that we had together.
Shoot, I just posted the wrong.
No, that's why I posted again.
Oh.
So, but anyway.
Fix your mistake.
I posted the one we did last week.
Oh, you're hilarious.
Oh, that's why she's right. Okay, I apologize. That's my bad.
That's why I fixed your mistake. I got you, John.
Really? But how come mine's still going?
Well,
Sorry about that, Rube.
It's all good. Hey, what up, David Lou? Remember somebody doing Watermelon Wednesdays? Wow, I had no idea.
No.
David Lou, could you please tell us who in the hell did Watermelon Wednesdays? And I'm glad that show was stopped. There was a guy who yelled out last night that I tore up that yelled out something about a mojito made with watermelon, and of course saying something like that to me, I ran with it. But it was a fun,
mojito.
Like a watermelon made with watermelon. I guess he was trying to make a joke or whatever, but
Well,
yeah.
I thought there was going to be a payoff there for that one, but
wait. He said I can name the comic Cochino.
Oh, is that the wait?
Well, I mean,
it's a Latino comic that was doing Watermelon Wednesday.
Well, anyway, let's not get into lifting up.
I mean, I don't even have a problem with Mojito Monday. That's not even that bad. If they had a Latino night, anything.
But
you know what? I was gonna say anything as long as it's not too like salsa and everything. But look, I'm wearing a shirt that says Taco Shop, so who am I to?
Well, yeah, but you should be proud. You should never be proud, not be proud of your heritage and
sure,
things being stereotypical or whatever the case may be. I just think there just needs to be a balance. You know
of course, absolutely.
And of course, I'm preaching to the choir. You've always done that with your career and always worked different rooms. But anyway, that's just me. People can go to whatever type of comedy shows that they want to go to. I just wanted a comedy show reflective of what I would want to perform in front of.
Sure.
I do.
And you want people to see as well.
Exactly.
You want people
to experience it. But what's dope about it, the people who do come to Ruby Tuesdays, I think once they're there, it's just another comedy show. But at the end of it, they do realize that they have experienced something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that was cool. You know what I mean? We literally got to see a mix of comedians,
and
of all different styles, different point of views. Yeah. So it's not, you're not going to a show where everybody's talking about the same topics over and over and over again. Like to have, John Rudnitsky or Amy Miller or Fahim and Byron Bowers. I mean, think about that. A white guy, a female, a Middle Eastern,
right?
A black guy, and then you have Chris Spencer, who's totally different from Byron Bowers. You have Craig Robinson, who's totally different from Chris Spencer. Mm. You have Godfrey, who's you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
It's just a nice mix. And
oh, look, B's watching. Hey, B. B's watching.
How do you know B's watching?
Because Jennifer just said.
Oh, okay. Hey,
well,
B.
she was supposed to be on here and she didn't want to do it. So now maybe she'll do it when she comes out.
Why do you want to be on the podcast, B? I know your dad can be annoying sometimes, but I would have. I got your back, B. Love you, B.
We want you to be on here, B.
Okay, enough. enough. You're gonna make her turn and get on her iPad. But anyway,
oh man, Cindy and I are on the same page. Laughter is the best medicine in life, along with a vodka soda. Boom!
How come I'm not getting
That's
that?
what I'm talking about. Right there.
But it's not coming up on my feed for some reason.
Oh, you have to talk to Chris about that.
Anyway, so that was last night.
Well, good.
Thank you to everybody who
came out
to the show.
And then next week, you might as well plug it now because you won't get a chance. Is Russell?
Yeah, I got Russell Peters next week.
Petrie.
My brother and some surprise special guests also will be on that show. So get your tickets now.
Yeah, definitely with Russell.
Because the show's going to sell out. And yeah, man, it's just been. It was a good night, and especially, of everything that's been going on in LA. It's just nice to get out and celebrate life, and
yeah, that's for sure.
You know what I mean, and just try to live life to the fullest and enjoy it. But Super Bowl was last Sunday. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs and all the Chiefs fan. I'm sure.
All right,
you got. Hey,
congrats to the Kansas City Queefs.
Really?
But more importantly, congrats to Andy Reid because he does deserve the ring for getting a championship as a head coach. 360. That was his 366th head coaching game, and he finally gets. That's a lot.
But you know what was interesting when they talked about Andy Reid?
Oh wait! My condolences to my family though, because the majority of my family are Niner fans. My dad's been a diehard since the early '60s. My sisters, my aunts, uncles, cousins, feel bad for them.
Well, you know I love your dad.
Do you?
I do.
Because you're talking a lot of crap about the Niners all the time. So I don't know how much you love my dad, to be honest.
I love your dad. I love your family. But let me just say this.
I know what
the
you're going to
49ers have 5 Super Bowls, bro.
But they lost their last 2.
But that's extraordinary, though, dude. There's only 2 teams that have more. The Steelers and the Patriots.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, if the Raiders would have 5 Super Bowls, we wouldn't care if they of course we'd care if they lost, but we go, hey man,
we got 5.
We've been through it. And the good thing about your father, which everybody doesn't get to experience, he's experienced all 5 wins.
Yeah, correct.
You know what I mean? Sometimes, you're growing up and you don't, you're too young, you don't get to see all the
the Buffalo Bills. You could have been a Bills fan going 4 times and not winning.
Yeah. Well, even with
with the Vikings.
Even with Lionel B. Lionel B. grew up being a Raiders fan. I think his first Raider game was in the 70s. So in his lifetime, he experienced all the Raider championships. But his son.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
His son, who's 12. You know what I mean? Has no idea that the Raiders used to be a dominant team. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Raiders would have more Super Bowls if it wasn't for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They have to meet each other in the playoffs in the 70s all the time.
Exactly. And then,
At
if
the
we didn't
AFC
get cheated, with the immaculate reception, or if we didn't get cheated with the tuck rule, but we won't get into all that stuff.
So Stan wants to know, I wasn't going to, you know what? We'll get back on the Chiefs and we'll get back on the Queefs and Niner game in a second. But do you think, are the Raiders really interested in Tom Baby?
No.
Okay.
I think that would be a bad move, simply because
of Carr, number one.
Because of Carr. Carr had a great year, and I know a lot of Raider fans try to shit on David Carr, but if you look at the numbers, he had a career year this past year without a number one receiver. He doesn't have a number one receiver.
The receivers aren't.
Antonio Brown really hurt that offense. Waller stepped up, but if you don't have an outside threat, somebody that can take, the pressure off, take the roof off the defense, and take a pressure off the tight end, tight end is easier to guard when you don't have to worry about the receivers on the outside. So
what he said.
Yeah.
Stan,
but it's
because
just frustrating.
Ruben's better with he remembers everybody's names. He knows everybody's stats. So I let Ruben. I'm more of that guy. Come on, score already. But here's the thing. I think, and this is I think I mentioned this to you. Mm-hmm. I know I've told some other people about this, but I feel after what happened with Kobe Bryant and him being, his legacy of staying with the Lakers.
Yeah.
I feel like that might tell Tom, I should just finish here in New England.
I agree with that, but I think there's
Right?
some underlying tension.
Yes,
that's
of course,
there, and
of
I think
course.
that's what's causing it.
Right.
You know, I think there's some.
But Kobe went through the same thing. He was going to go to the Clippers.
yeah, but his whole thing was bring other talent. I need
yeah.
help
Well,
here.
yeah.
But Tom Brady's thing, I think it's more of a respect thing with him and the Patriots. That's what it seems to be. Like it's more of a respect thing. And what up, J Mac?
Is that another nickname?
John is a cool dude out of DC. Good brother, man.
Sorry, John. I give Ruben, even though I come up with nicknames for everybody.
Yeah, I haven't
Ruben,
seen my guy in a while,
Oh,
man.
nice.
He's good people.
So, back to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the game. So, congrats to KC,
Chiefs, yeah.
especially Andy. And what was your takeaway from? Did you enjoy
here's
it?
the
Did
thing.
you?
Being a Raider fan, I don't like the 49ers. I don't hate them.
But you should hate the Chiefs more than the Niners.
But it's the AFC.
They're in our division.
But it's the AFC
They're
West,
our
man.
rival.
It's the AFC West, and you kind of want to feel like
we're
we're-
representing.
they're representing our division. Because at the end of the day, with Kansas City winning, it shows you that the AFC West was the best division in football. You're welcome.
No, the division's gotten really good, even more so recently. But
Yeah.
listen, when the Broncos won, I only was pulling for them because of Peyton Manning at the.
Yeah.
But man, I don't. It's like at the same time they're our rival, dude. We play them all.
I know,
I
but-
got a different mindset about things like that.
I know.
I don't know what it
hey,
is,
man,
but
listen. I don't love the Chiefs either. But if I have to root for somebody, I wanted Kansas City to win, one for Andy Reid,
Yeah.
two for the brother at quarterback, Mahomes.
Oh. Is
You
he?
know?
What is he? Is he half?
Yeah, he's black and white.
Oh, black and white.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
He looks. It's funny because he kind of has that Dominican or kind of Puerto Rican look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he.
So I was always wondering, what is he exactly? So
Yeah, but he balled out. So I wanted, the black quarterback to win.
because
For
it's Black History Month.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew. See, I know you so well, dude.
Yeah, man. But you also know how I feel about Black History Month. I think Black history is American history, and it shouldn't be regulated to a month. But
Oh.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Let's how about this? Just this for the next
Nah,
4
man.
episodes. Just pick,
Nah,
no.
man. Nah.
Pick a quick. Well, you can do a quick like a Black History Month moment. And you pick somebody you want to talk about, and then
moment.
Yeah,
Our history is American history, bro.
I agree with you. But
they can't regulate us to just one damn.
Here we go.
You
1
know, I'm
month.
sick of this, man.
Hey,
Just
but hey, it's an extra day this year. It's leap year.
Oh, thank you.
Got to it.
Oh, thank you, white man. Thank you for giving us another month.
Oh,
Giving us another day of the
stop.
month.
Stop it.
Nah, man. We should be.
Okay. Oh, all of a sudden, your voice changed a little militant
Yeah,
now.
man. I had to get militant.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, good.
Come on, man.
So,
Come on.
yesterday was Rosa Parks' birthday.
Correct.
Um,
The birthday. Yeah.
yeah, it was her birthday. So, when you think about the history of the country and everything that's transpired and where we are now, I mean, you have to say things have gotten better, but then sometimes you question yourself. I know, especially as a black man, you go, have things really gotten better? You know overall that they have, but there's still certain things that are an issue in our culture that shouldn't be
Like
not in our culture, in our society, in
Yeah.
American culture.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that still shouldn't be an issue. Like sometimes when you hear some of these stories and some of these things,
Did
that
you see the
happen-
video of the Mexican man that was talking at the school district of Michigan? Because there's been a lot of racism
Mm-hmm.
going on. Kids are getting bullied there because it's like 95% white at that school and
Yeah.
2% black, 2.5% Hispanic. But anyway, he was there to talk about what his kids went through. They graduated already,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, they had to listen to this. They were called that. They were called like, which is really funny because going through that in the 80s, wasn't as big of a deal, I guess, because I had friends calling me taco and enchilada and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
get those kind of racial things, but beaner, stuff like that. But anyway, his kids had to go through that. And then he's standing up and talking in front of the committee, the little, it's like a town hall thing. And all of a sudden, he's been here for 4 decades, by the way. Okay. He came to the United States 40 years ago. has 3 businesses of his own.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you hear some guy go, "Why didn't you just stay in Mexico?" And everybody goes, "What?" And everybody turns around. It's just some white dude. Well, it was like, dude, the guy's been here 40 years.
Yeah. And it's
And he has 3 Mexican restaurants that he opened up.
and it's like
But it's just weird to hear that. Like
you say to yourself, I mean, it's 2020
yeah.
and you still have things like that popping up, and there's just a time where what I think Martin Luther King said, we need to live together as brothers or die together as fools. Or there's a quote, Chris, you can
Maybe
look that
die
up.
apart as fools.
Something like that.
Live together as brothers.
We need to learn to live together as brothers,
Or
or
die apart as fools. Probably.
Yeah.
With
Chris
that-
can
I
look
don't
up
know.
the
Maybe you can
quote.
look that up.
but you
But
know,
anyway.
regardless of the specifics. Of
Yeah,
the,
of course. Of
of
course.
the term is, in a lot of ways, with this presidency, whatever side you are on the coin, it just seems in a certain aspect, we're as divided as ever as a country.
Right.
Even when you look at the politics, I look at politicians as politicians. I don't get into Republicans or Democrats.
Right.
I mean, they're all politicians at the end of the day. And you have to vote your interests. What's the quote?
Excuse me. I have it on the screen. It says, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools."
Let's pair together.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Thank you, Chris. That's Chris, everybody.
and
Anyway.
I just think we all.
What's up, Matthew?
I think we can all do our part individually, in terms of not to sound corny, but Ruby Tuesdays for me is a way of trying to do something different, trying to get people together.
Sure.
For people to understand we have more in common than we do different. And I think sometimes we forget that. Now, obviously, there's differences between cultures and race and everything. There's no 2 human beings that are the same, so there's no way you could think a whole race of people
Right.
could be the same.
But
So,
on that, even whenever when I've been asked to do Latino tours, and they ask hey man, we're gonna try to we're thinking, what about? And I'll go, if you're gonna do that, at least have each comic, even though they're the same race, they could be race, or they could be all Mexico, they could be Puerto Rican and whatever, but at least have them have a different point of view.
Absolutely.
I've always tried to get the Latinos. How about this? They'll be like, how about so and so? I go, they all talk about the same thing, and they're from the same area. Like, get the one that doesn't speak fluent Spanish like myself. Get the other one who is very educated on whatever. You know what I mean? Even in that,
absolutely.
yeah.
Because there's diversity within the race.
Within the race, yeah.
Well,
Or culture, yeah.
Again, getting back to Ruby Tuesdays and that whole concept where you'll go to
right, Cindy.
shows, like a lot of these bookers will book 5 white comics on a show, and they don't think twice about it
Sure.
because they feel that everybody is different. But if you book 5 black comics on a show, the stereotype is, oh, they're all going to talk about the same thing.
right.
You book a all Latino show, you think, oh, all the comics are going to talk about the same thing. And there's that disparity there where people can see white people as different as individuals, but they look at us as a
thinking they're
going
gonna hear the same, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like we're all the same. So that's why it's easy to have tokens on shows, because it's like, okay, we'll put 5 white comics on there, and then we'll put a Mexican because he's going to be the spokesperson of all Mexicans because all Mexicans are the same. Or we'll put the black guy on there because he's going to represent all black people because all black people are the same. Oh, we're going to put the Asian guy on there. When if you really are paying attention, if you're really listening, you understand that there's diversity within our groups. Every black guy isn't the same. There's black dudes who grew up in the hood. There's black dudes who grew up middle class. There's black dudes who grew up with money,
There's
or women.
Black
or
dudes who grew up in the hood but became bougie.
hey,
You know
man,
what I'm saying?
I work for my bouginess, brother.
Oh, Paul.
But you know what I mean?
What?
But that's a great point that
No,
you make
right,
about the
because-
shows is
yeah,
like,
yeah, it's
I could put an all Latino show together and everyone would be totally different.
totally different.
And
Same
but,
here,
But
yeah.
here's the thing. We're cheating the audiences, man.
Yeah.
I feel like audiences are being cheated to a certain extent because, we all have this way of thinking of this is what comedy is and this is what it should be, when everyone needs to be represented. But I want to give one quick
go ahead.
Black History
You looked
moment
up something?
to Ronald McNair, who was an astronaut, and it's a great story about him. In 1959, police were called to a segregated library when he was 9 years old, and he refused to leave. He went on to get a PhD in physics from MIT and became an astronaut. Ronald McNair died in the Shuttle Challenger disaster, and the library that refused to lend him books is now named after him.
Oh, wow. He was on that Challenger?
Yeah, man.
Let me see his look. What he looked. Let me see that. Wow, trippy. Because, it's weird then. Because remember, it was the teacher was on board. Remember?
Yeah.
McAuliffe, I think her name was.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be like, that was really what everybody was talking about, that teacher was on that. Krista McAuliffe, I think what her name was.
But it just shows.
But I didn't even realize that.
Isn't it crazy? But even how things evolve, man. You're a 9-year-old child in a library.
Yeah.
And they call the police on you. On a child, dude.
Wow.
What does it and shit like that bothers me because it just goes back to a lot of times, whites. Sometimes there's people in white America that don't look at us as equals. Like we're human. Like we don't care about our kids.
Right. The
stereotype of it. You know what I mean? Like even sometimes. It's just it's ingrained in some people's psyche. Even how the police deal with you differently. Mm-hmm. You see black skin, it's like they think superhero. You know what I mean? Like we're
gonna need backup.
Need backup now, and it's a child. But if it's a white kid, a lot of times they look at him for what he is. Oh, he needs rehab. He's just this. He's just that.
Right.
He's a troubled teen. But blacks can't be troubled teens. We have to be thugs and dangerous. Mm-hmm. But this white guy that's hopped up on meth or PCP or whatever, he needs help. It's like, we just need to start being more compassionate and understanding that we love our kids just as much as anybody else loves their kids. Yeah. We want what's best for them. We're not teaching kids to go out and do crime and not be good citizens and all these things. We all at the end of the day.
Oh, and there's also the parents of all colors that are really horrible parents.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. We've all seen that.
Yeah,
whites, Latinos. I've seen, believe it or not, you see some bad Asian parents as well.
Yeah,
anybody. It's like so. It's all that's the same as well. It's also equal on the other end of people that shouldn't be that were horrible.
Yeah, it's
parenting.
Just there's good and bad
Absolutely.
in every race, every culture, because we're all human beings, and we need to start, acting like and looking at it that way instead of judging people based on their skin color. And it's just unfortunate and it's sad that it's still a prominent part, in society, that people are still judging people based on the race. But, I'm, like I've said, I celebrate Black History Month, but I try to celebrate it year round and look for things to be proud of because as a kid growing up, you weren't always taught of the accomplishments that we attributed to society.
Yeah.
It's like we were slaves and then Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? It's like there's no...
all that in between.
None of the inventions and the and it's hard. And I know it's tough for America because the atrocity happened on American soil.
Correct.
Like when you think of the Jewish culture, the Germans did that to them over there. You know what I mean? So I know it's hard for America to take responsibility, and it's kind of a black eye, and we always try to sweep it under the rug. But we should celebrate. I celebrate the perseverance of our culture, of everything that they've gone through or we've gone through, and looking forward to a brighter future. But it's great to see Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl because he's the third black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, after Russell Wilson and Doug Williams.
Right?
So it's great. And even when you talk about now with coaching, Richard Sherman, who gets a lot of flack, who's a brilliant guy, who used to play for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, of
and now
course.
plays
Yeah,
for the 49ers.
I was thinking about him because I wonder how he's lost his last two.
Yeah, man.
I wonder what that's got to be a little tough too.
It's
You know,
tough, but you know what, Johnny? I was a buddy of mine
for the Niners and for Seattle.
for Seattle, and a buddy of mine in Vegas. We were talking. He was like, "Man, I'm meeting Richard Sherman on Monday. I hope he's not in a bad mood." And I think at the end of the day, when you're an athlete and you compete, there's going to be disappointment when you don't accomplish your goal. But man, he has a ring, so that has to take the sting off of it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's disappointed, but at the end of the day, when he retires, he won a championship. That one that they gave up to New England is probably going to hurt for a long time because they had that Super Bowl.
But this
one's
going to hurt too, dude, because the Niners had it.
Yeah, they
could have won that game. Some bad decisions on the coach and you know the calls. Look, you know, I mean, I've heard back and forth. It's about 50-50 with the pass interference on Kittle. Yeah. I've heard, you know, with sports analysis and everything. Yeah. That's a 50-50. So that could have gone, even though they were not calling much that day. They were letting them play. Yeah. But either way, I think the one against the New England's got to sting way more.
Way more, dude.
You've got it. It's right.
And here's the thing that's interesting about the
and the guy almost did something that he would have done. The defense, you know, that's a play that Sherman would have.
But the thing that stands out to me about the Seattle game when they lost to the New England in that Super Bowl when they were on the goal line, there was conversation on whether New England was just going to let them score so they can get the ball back.
Right.
So to have that sort of confusion, Marshawn Lynch had just gashed them for a big run a play or two before. They had their timeouts. They're on, like, it was a perfect scenario. Just hand the ball off to beast mode.
Yeah.
The most dominant short yardage runner in the game at that time.
Yeah.
And you overthink it. And to me, hey, this is just all our opinions, but when I think of the 49ers in the fourth quarter having that lead, and they were still running the ball effectively, to start throwing the
ball, man.
And he did the same thing when he was the offensive coordinator
with the Falcons.
Dude.
Played conservative, starts throwing instead of running out.
It's like, run the ball, dude. If anything, you're going to shorten the game. And it's like, if you're going to make these plays, you're going to make them in a shorter amount of time. But just to have like a 2nd and 5, the clock is running, and then you decide to do a pass play.
Yeah.
When you I think have the number 1 rushing offense or the second rushing offense in the entire NFL, the offense that got you to the Super Bowl, the thing that everybody thought they were going to do, they were shoving it down Kansas City's throats.
Yeah.
But congratulations to the Chiefs. I'm happy for
Andy 50
Reid.
years too. The other thing is
50
that's
years,
a long
It's a long time.
That's a long time to go without.
And
actually, they hadn't been there in 50 years as
hadn't
well.
even been there.
They haven't even. It's not like
haven't even sniffed
got
it, bro.
there.
They haven't even sniffed it.
Yeah.
And I will say this, because I respect people who are loyal to their teams. Dude, their games are packed. Like, they have such a loyal fan base, man.
Is crazy.
They have such a loyal fan base.
They
and to
really
reward them for all those years of loyalty is dope.
All
man.
right. You're right. Niners have 5. All right.
Which is, man. What up, Jimmy Maggette? What up, J Mag? And so all I know is I'm damn glad
J Mag.
they did what they did.
A Stan, yeah.
Oh yeah. So he doesn't like he doesn't like the 49ers either.
No, I think he was talking about earlier. I think he was glad that Seattle did not run it.
Oh,
He's a Patriot.
Oh my God, he's a Cheatriots fan. The Cheatriots.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, I love Brett Forte, Cindy. I love Brett, but we try not to do tokens on the show. To be totally transparent.
She goes, and then we have spandex socks against cotton socks.
Oh my God.
Oh, that would be the sock bowl.
No, man.
I'm gonna do the sock bowl next year to find out.
No, we're not.
I'm just gonna take a poll of the bowl, and it's gonna be how many people prefer spandex socks, how many people want cotton socks.
Anyway,
guys, tune in next year for the sock bowl.
So, Philip, what is it? Baez.
Baiza, bro.
Baiza,
homie.
Baiza the second.
Baiza the second, eh? You know what that means, eh?
What? He's not the first.
He's not the first, homie.
What is he?
He's the second, eh?
Who was first, man?
Not going to believe it,
What?
but a guy named Philip Biza, the first, eh? Then there came Philip Biza, the pinchy second, homie.
But yeah, so I was.
Anyway, what's up, guys?
But you know what I was thinking about Andy Reid also?
Dean Flies.
And Patrick Mahomes is, he had great success. You know, Andy Reid won most of his games with Donovan McNabb. So a black quarterback who was known as super intelligent, which is even gross to say that you have to, put that moniker on a black quarterback when, they try to say, anyway. But, Donovan McNabb shed a lot of those stereotypes and was fantastic for Andy Reid. Wasn't able to win the championship. But then you get Patrick Mahomes. When you look at him, he's like Donovan McNabb 2.0. He's like the upgrade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Has all the skill sets Donovan McNabb had, but better.
I know.
And I told you.
And he can take a hit, man.
Whoa, man.
That dude this season took some licks, bro.
And I know you're going to.
Gets right up. Just that hit he took from the defensive that knocked the ball out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh. I mean, I know he didn't get him square.
He's tough, man.
Still, that's a hard hit.
But you remember this.
He got right up.
When I saw Patrick play last year, I remember told you, I go,
oh, you did tell me that.
I think he's the best quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah, you did tell me that. They played in Oakland.
I was like,
I remember you telling me that.
This guy,
like, dude,
is the best quarterback I've ever seen. Just based
play live in front of you,
in front of my
your
eyes.
Yeah, that's
just
totally
because
different.
I mean, we saw it on display in the Super Bowl, just because of what he can do.
Yeah,
he can run, he can beat you from the pocket, he can read defenses, he can make every throw. He knows how to manipulate the defense with his eyes. He does shit that you're not supposed to do. He throws across his body.
Yeah.
He'll throw. I mean, he does, but that's how gifted he is.
He's like, all right. I even think he's like a Russell Wilson 2.0, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a little step above Russell as well.
It's interesting that you say that, but I think the debate would be if you gave Russell Wilson those weapons that he has.
Okay.
Russell Wilson does more with less than probably anybody.
Yeah, he does have a lot. He does have a lot of weapons, man. I'm talking about Mahomes has a lot.
I mean, you got Tyreek Hill. You got
Kelsey,
the receiver, Sammy Watkins. The other guy, number 17. I can't remember. I mean,
yeah. Oh, dude,
it's like a track team, dude.
I know.
It's like a track team, and they run routes well.
Yeah.
They're explosive. Then you got Andy Reid's play calling, and then you just have a gifted quarterback. Dude, that's a really hard formula to beat. But the problem they're going to run into is a problem that the Raiders ran into, that all great teams run into, is they're going to have to pay Patrick Mahomes. And once
he's saying he wants to stay there for a long time.
Yeah, but if I'm his agent, I ain't taking no pay cuts, man. Give me that $40 million plus. He's going to be the highest paid quarterback ever.
Yeah.
So when you sign someone to a contract like that, then that hurts you in being able to sign other people.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of people criticize the Raiders for for having to let Khalil Mack go. Khalil Mack was not going to play for less.
For less.
He wasn't going to play for less. So John Gruden had nothing to do. They didn't want to get rid of Khalil Mack.
No.
But to all my Chicago friends, how's that working out for you? So
one player's not gonna.
Yeah,
it's just not
still haven't done anything. Still have not won a playoff game, just like the Raiders didn't win a playoff game with them. And I love Khalil Mack. He was my favorite Raider.
Remember when
when he used to come out of the tunnel when they used to introduce him, man, that was my guy. But it's hard to pay everybody now with the salary caps and everything. So it's hard to have the highest paid quarterback, the highest paid running back, the highest paid defensive player, like the highest paid offensive lineman. Like you just can't do that. So they're going to have some interesting choices because everybody's going to want to get paid. And getting back to your Tom Brady point.
Hi, Tara. I have to say that otherwise.
Tom Brady
gives me a hard time.
Tom Brady took pay cuts so New England can stay good.
Yeah.
And I think part of the issue is with this contract, a lot of people feel like, hey, New England, time for some back pay. Time to show me how much you appreciated me for bringing six Super Bowl championships.
Yeah.
Speaking of the World Series.
Oh, no. Let's stay on football.
Dodgers got Mookie Betts. Let's go.
I don't even know what that means.
Mookie Betts is one of the top 5 players in baseball.
Okay.
He was with the Boston Red Sox, and the Dodgers have made a trade to bring
I
Mookie
did
Betts
read about it. I just don't know.
to bring Mookie. And we need a
Okay.
brother on the team. That's one thing that was missing on the team last
Do
year.
you
We
think
didn't
they
have
did
no
it
brother.
because of Black History Month on purpose?
No, we just needed
okay.
a great player.
So do you
But
think-
I'm happy.
do you-
But we didn't have any brothers after we got rid of Puig. There was no brothers.
But Puig was like,
Well,
he was also Dominican or something,
We got
right?
Jansen. Yeah, but he's still black.
no, I know that, but I'm talking more like African American. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you mean when you say brother.
No,
you
I mean,
Oh,
when I say brother,
just-
I mean, well, shit. Like people would say, I'm not black, I'm Haitian. Like, no,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, yeah.
No, Johnny.
No. I hear you, but to me,
That used to drive me crazy. But Ruben, you're not black. You're Haitian. Really?
I'm doing it because I doesn't.
Oh,
I know I got.
it
I got to
annoys
turn
me.
the
You
screw a
know
little
that-
bit. But listen,
It's
I
just
get
crazy.
it.
Just because somebody speaks Spanish, they're not black. Like,
no, of
it
course
just
they have
drives
African,
me
yeah.
crazy.
But I'm saying when you go like this, we need another.
We need another brother.
No. But
in our
is he-
lineup, batting.
I know, but okay.
That's
Listen,
what I mean.
his name sounds to me that he's not Latino.
Yeah.
So Betts. Okay. So is he born and raised in the States, or is he from another? Was he born somewhere else?
No,
I don't know. nothing.
I believe Mookie is American.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But Chris, I'm sure,
And that's
is
how
looking that up.
he'll
right
look it
now.
up because he's a Dodger fan too. But
Yeah.
that's what I meant. That's what I thought you meant by like, yeah, we got to like. In other words, I know what you're gonna say. It doesn't matter if they're Dominican
Yeah.
or Puerto Rican; they still have black blood. I get it.
So-
but what I mean, I thought you meant like, African American from here in the States or whatever.
Well,
but that's not what you meant.
I think me and Renee laughed last year. Renee, our producer, one of the podcast.
Renee Aguirre, by
Yeah,
the way.
He's legit Mexican.
Well, I'm only a third, man. So you can't
Anyway.
you can't even come down on me anymore.
But
I'm dressed like a Mexican.
But I remember,
today.
I think me and Renee were laughing when it was Jackie Robinson Day, when he was like, Ruben, like who's going to be the Dodger representative on Jackie Robinson, because there's no black players.
Oh.
There was no black players on the team. I think Renee, remember we were laughing.
I think I said who's going to be the token.
Yeah, because it was just Jansen. But I was just telling him how happy I am. We got Mookie because now we got a brother in the lineup again, and that's going to take us over the top.
And then you said Dave Roberts. I'm like, he's half.
Yeah, I did say Dave Roberts, but
See, he said it. See, the half
But-
thing too kind of goes
but
in
he,
a little bit.
but again,
Comes into play.
Dave doesn't play. But
All right.
yeah, man, we just need to get back to celebrating
Do
diversity.
you think that because you guys are bigger baseball fans
Mm-hmm.
than I am, of course, but do you? So does this mean they have another legit run for the World Series?
Oh, absolutely.
Or even more so.
This, I would say this, and Renee and Chris, you could chime in on this. I think this lineup that the Dodgers has is our best offensive lineup that we've had even on this 3-year run we've been on.
Okay.
I think this is our. I mean, dude, Mookie Betts, Bellinger, Seager, Muncy, Smith, Lux. Who am I leaving out? Did I say Corey Seager?
No.
Did I say Chunky Muncy?
You said Muncie.
And I didn't. Oh, I left out
Wait.
JT Turner.
Did you say Chucky or Chunky?
Chunky?
So you guys have Chunky and Mookie on the same team?
Well, that's my nickname for him. I call him Chunky Muncy.
Oh, that's funny.
But when he gets introduced at the Dodger game, they play Brass Monkey. Brass Monkey.
That's funny.
That
That's
funky
funny.
monkey.
That's funny.
Because he's kind of a husky dude.
Well, I don't really.
And then we
because
have JT. So I think offensively, out of our run the last 3 years, I think this is the best offensive team, the best batting lineup
okay.
the Dodgers. It's
Okay.
murderer's row because Mookie's going to be in the leadoff spot, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you mention
Do you
Gavin
think
Lux?
yeah, I said Lux.
Do you think his nickname will be the Mookie Monster? You heard it here first.
Whatever.
Eat him up, the Mookie Monster.
Okay.
Oh, I'm telling you guys. Look, Renee knows nobody said this yet.
There's a reason why no one said it, Johnny.
Oh, really?
There's a reason.
All right, everybody. All you Dodger fans, start doing hashtag the Mookie Monster, and let's see how far this goes.
You know what?
And then
I actually don't hate it.
Right, it's not bad.
Yeah,
because he's eating everybody up. He's gonna eat up them balls, man.
And he's just a great defensive player too,
All right,
man.
Just watch and see.
We just need AJ Pollock to step up this year finally, man. I said it.
All right.
He's our center fielder that we got from the D-backs, I think. Right? Didn't we get him from Arizona? Yeah. So anyway,
I think Chris checked out already.
But it's just
on his phone or something.
But
that's our engineer, everybody.
But in the theme
by
of
the way.
Black History Month, I think I got off of the Richard Sherman point that I wanted to make.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought what happened with that?
Richard Sherman said something that I think was very important because just how the Rooney Rule is not working in pro football.
Pro football, yeah.
And black coaches aren't really being considered for jobs. And then I think a lot of people who don't really understand systematic racism doesn't realize that it's not that people aren't qualified. They're just not legitimately getting opportunities.
Sure.
So because it's been a certain way, it changes your thinking and you just automatically assume that, these are the best people for the job, not even looking or giving anybody an opportunity. So when you have the rule, like a Rooney Rule, it's really just trying to tell people, like, it's not saying these white candidates aren't any good, but there's so many other qualified, deserving people that deserve an opportunity that's still under this umbrella of racism or these stereotypes that they're not, competent enough to lead a team. So when they asked Richard Sherman, hey, what do you think about no black coaches in the league and what do you think needs to be done? And he goes, why are you asking me? Why are you talking to the players? We have no say-so on who gets hired. We have no say-so, on, even on our own careers, whether we make the team or don't make the team or get cut.
Or get traded at the last minute somewhere. Yeah.
And he made a great point. He said the media is the one that should be held responsible. Why are you coming to the people who have no power? Talk to the owners. Talk to the general managers.
Yeah.
Put the pressure on them and go, hey, man, why aren't you hiring any black people? Why aren't you giving them a legitimate chance to, coach your team?
Right. Yeah.
Those are the questions that needs to be asked. Why are you coming and asking me a question that I have really no power or control over?
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a great point. And there wasn't really that much pushback. A lot of media members said, he's absolutely right. Get to those people who make those decisions and ask them the questions why.
Right.
And hopefully there's should be a change. Look at Eric Bieniemy, man, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's who you were talking about when we were
man.
texting back and forth.
I mean, this guy calls the plays. It's not Andy Reid calling those plays.
Right. Yeah.
It's Eric Bieniemy calling those plays. He deserves a lot of credit. And a guy with his resume, coaching a league MVP, now coaching a Super Bowl MVP, who had a big hand on why Pat Mahomes is successful, doesn't even get close to being hired. When people with less resumes and less success than he has are getting jobs.
Also, too, that happened with the what's his name, the defensive coordinator for the Niners, Saleh.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people were surprised that they and I don't even know, was it Cleveland? Cleveland signed their new coach, and a lot of people thought they were going to go to him.
Yeah.
But what is he? What is that guy?
I think
he looks mixed.
I think he's Samoan and something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Is he?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he
he looks like Vin Diesel. A little bit. He's got that Vin Diesel thing going. Anyway, I wasn't sure what he was or not. He looked like he could have like some be African a little bit or something.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's not about handouts.
Oh right, or affirmative an affirmative action where they're just doing it because the person is color.
And I just think a lot of times why it's important to have diversity in any business, especially if you're selling to the public and you want the public to consume, is if you don't have different points of views in a boardroom or in an office or in any type of management, you're just going to look at things in one way. And ultimately, if you own the business, that's your right. but it's not going to be totally inclusive. Like there needs to be somebody in the room. You know, if you have a company and it's all white males and there's no women, when a woman's issue is going to come up, who's going to chime in and be like, hey guys, that might not be a good idea, and this is why, because they have a clear perspective.
Yeah.
You know, if you have, you know, different type of representation, if you have, you know, Latinos or blacks or Asians in the room, they can just give you a different perspective.
Right.
And I think the lack of having that is why you're seeing people not getting the opportunities, because people are going to hire what they're comfortable hiring or what they're used to. So you have these owners, you know, hiring people that look like them.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm hoping, you know, that changes. And I know I have a lot of friends who are done with the NFL, and that's their right. Like they don't watch the NFL anymore after the whole Kaepernick thing, and, you know, to each his own. But yeah, it's just not the NFL. It's just in a lot of areas that society and needs to be reflected across the board.
Sure.
Like, you know, I was laughing the other day. I was talking to somebody about Woody Allen movies. It's like, how do you do movies that take place in New York City and it be all white? You know what I mean? It's like that's such a, if you really sit back and think about it, going, like there ain't even black extras walking back in the background. Like, and you're in Manhattan. You know, you go to Manhattan, dude. It's a true melting pot, man. When you're walking
all in one area too.
All in one area, bumping against each other. But yet, when you see in the movies, like there's no representation. And I know a lot of people were upset a couple of weeks ago. There was an article that came out, and I think it was David Schwimmer. I might be wrong. Chris, you can look this up. They were talking about they were going to do a black version of Friends. And it's like, dude, there was already a black version of Friends. You stole the idea from Living Single.
Oh, that's right.
The Queen Latifah show.
Yeah, I love that show.
You know what I mean?
I love that
show. But just the audacity and how to change the narrative and how to put it out there to go, hey, they're going to do a black version of Friends. Like, people are clueless that Friends got that idea from a black show. Yeah. And that's been throughout history. You know, there's black people that have contributed a lot that never got the credit for it, you know, and it's important for our children to know. Like, I remember a long time ago, we talked about just having black dolls in the store, you know, giving kids an alternative, you know, because, you know, we're shaping these young minds on what beauty is. And if all they see is blonde hair, blue eyes as beautiful, then how are they going to feel about themselves when they look in the mirror and they go, well, I don't have blonde hair. I don't have blue eyes. You know, there's beauty in all race and all cultures.
Bee's been very like, she's had, her dolls have all been mixed. She's had, you know, she's had like
her choice.
Her choice. Yes, she's had black dolls. She's had a brown doll. She's had a white brunette doll, and a blonde doll. So she's kind of picked. She just went through different phases. Like, no, I want those. I want that. And then she went.
And there's no you prompting or nobody prompting. Those are her choices.
Just her choices totally. So, oh, by the way, my cousin Philip said Sala is Lebanese.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that crazy? Like, your daughter makes that choice naturally.
Right.
You know.
Right. So she. Otherwise, she. That's what's great about giving them that choice.
Yeah.
You know, she gets to take what she wants, and
it's just interesting. There's like this debate, like with the younger generation and the millennials, and of how race isn't a big of an issue for them as it is for our generations. I hope that's true in a sense,
right?
But you know, we know that racism is something that is learned.
Sure.
You know, because if you take two babies, and put them together, they're gonna play.
Yeah.
You know, they're just. Because that's their natural human nature.
Yeah,
and isn't until their parents start to put their baggage on them, like, oh, come here. I don't want you near them. I don't want you near them. And then the kid is like, what, mommy? You know, those people are dirty, or they steal, or they're this and they're that. And then that starts getting ingrained in your. Like I told one of my friends years ago, he was from Omaha, Nebraska, and I said, man, I commend you for not being racist. I really do, because and he's a white male, grew up in Nebraska, parents were racist, grew up in a racist environment, but to come to a point in time in your age where you look at it and go, wow, everything that I've been taught by the people who supposedly love me is wrong.
Right.
And he was really angry about that. And he used to share some of the things. He was like, Rube, these are the things that we would say. And he would tell me all these racist, little undercover racist things. I was like, really, dude?
Yeah.
He goes, oh, yeah, man. He used to tell me all these things. He was the first one that told me, he's like, yeah, man, at restaurants, and when you hear him go, hey, man, we have a table full of Canadians. I think we talked about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not funny, but
Canadians
the code
was code word for black people.
Right.
Oh, man, I got table full of Canadians at table 4. Yeah. So all these things that the information I wouldn't have to for him to make a conscious choice on his own to educate himself and realize that, hey, we're all human beings, man, and I'm going to judge a person based on their character and not what they look like. And, that was Martin's dream, that we get to that point where, we can at least respect one another. It doesn't mean like everybody has to be best friends at Kumbaya or whatever,
right?
But there should be a respect in to understand that.
Well, that's interesting. You're talking about that. I don't mean to cut you off. That generation of the millennials, the gentleman, the white dude that said that to the Mexican man just in that town hall meeting. Mm-hmm. His son, I guess, went on social media. I don't know whether it was Twitter or not. His own son said, "No, my dad said that because he is a racist. That's just his racist talk." So that's a son who's, I think, in high school or just got out, right around that, Yeah. And he's even like, I have nothing. His views are not even, I'm not the same as my dad is what he's saying.
Well, it's interesting because, I have friends who have kids and, they've done well for themselves. So they probably live in areas where there isn't a lot of diversity. And it's just interesting, hearing them talk about their kids' relationships with their friends. They're like, yo, man, like my son's best friend is white, and it's great to see. Like, they hang out and this and that, and it's just really gives you hope where at some point, the kid can continue to think for himself, go by his own experiences, and not take on the baggage of their parents, and actually give people the opportunity to be judged based on their character.
Now, did this guy move out to Southern California from Nebraska? Or no?
Oh yeah. He moved. He moved from Nebraska to Arizona, and then he lived in California.
Well, Arizona is very
and he lived in California for a while. But man, the stories he used to tell me, man.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You guys say that? And he goes, yeah, man. He goes, I'm ashamed of it. And he goes, the N-word was used in my house all the time. But then to grow up and to become a man and realize that was gross. And those are his words. He's like, man, I'm so ashamed. He's like, that's gross. And he goes, I won't be a part of that, and I won't raise my kids like that. And you see nowadays more of an interaction, even on the black side towards white people. And we have way more reason to be not trusting white people than vice versa. Mm-hmm. But I see, some of my friends who, never really interacted with white people, allowing their kids. Of course, they're like, be careful. I remember my cousin told me something years ago. And because I used to tell you about my friend Dan, who I do the Thanksgiving joke about.
Yeah.
And my parents were cool enough to try to expose me to different type of things. Like, we grew up in the hood, but they would allow, we would go to different churches, and they allowed me to have this friendship with a friend of mine at church. And I did learn a lot. But I remember my cousin telling me, he goes, hey, man, when you guys get older, you guys won't be as close. And I remember being a kid, I go, what are you talking about? He's like one of my best friends. And he goes, you'll see. He goes, he's white, man. As he gets older and he starts getting around. And I'm happy to say is he was wrong.
Oh, good.
Are we as close?
So you're the one that changed. No, I'm kidding.
So are we as close as we were as a kid?
Sure. It's always different.
Yeah, it's always different as you get older and, married and all that stuff. But he's still a friend to this day. You know what I mean? And his family, treated me with so much love and respect. And my parents did the same when he used to come to my house. You know what I mean? And it just made me just a little bit more well-rounded. Because like I told you, growing up, I had very little experience with white people.
White people. You was Your blacks in the neighborhood, and then Latinos in the school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There weren't a lot of. I didn't go to school with a lot of white people, so it wasn't until actually college was the first.
Oh, that's when you got
real
in.
real interaction.
Yeah.
And then obviously now in this industry. But even when I started doing comedy, there was no, because I felt more comfortable being in
South of Wilshire.
south of Wilshire. You know what I mean? So
And I was working north of Wilshire.
yeah, you were, man. And just to think of
And the Valley, by the way, the San Fernando. You probably never did any open mics in the San Fernando Valley, right? When you were
not
you
when I
would
was
have
starting
never.
off. Not when I started.
That's
Dude,
crazy.
My
There
my
were
run,
so many great little bars, dude. That's
my run was Comedy Act Theater,
Hey,
the
Crystal.
Townhouse.
Oh my God, brother.
Comedy Act Theater, the Townhouse, Birdland West, Mavericks Flat was the four rooms that I would work over and over and over and over again. And then I branched out when I met like Willie Barcena, and I started doing like tortillas and daily planet.
That doesn't even sound good, but it was a good room.
Oh,
it was a good
room,
little.
yeah.
It was a restaurant.
Yeah,
it was
then,
a restaurant.
You know, like Willie would be, you know, the token Mexican comic at the black room.
Yeah.
And I would be the token black comic in the Latino rooms.
Correct.
And that's how I met Gabriel and became friends with Gabriel and
Gilbert,
Gilbert,
Jeff Garcia,
Felipe,
Johnny Sanchez.
well, I didn't meet you in the Latino room.
I was
no.
already no. We met when we would do some Latino tours.
Yeah.
More of the tours was when, because I think I was the one recommending you. You're welcome.
Yeah, whatever.
You're
man.
welcome into our
Everyone knew
comedy tours.
Everybody knew my versatility. as a comic.
Versatility, motherfucker.
Yeah, but that was those are cool. Like going through.
Oh, look
through
at Darren
that journey.
Carter.
What up, Darren Carter?
The party,
DC.
But the party started.
Hey guys.
Hey guys,
I just got some coffee.
Hey.
Yeah.
This is my coffee.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. It's only a liter.
Yeah, it's only. This is just my starter. I'm getting the gallon after this. Hey everyone, Darren Carter. Anyway.
Shout out Derek Carter. What's up, DC?
No, we love Darren. Oh, hey, by the way. Before I forget, our friend Mike Robles is doing. It's next week.
And it's the K Locos. What anniversary is it? 20?
20th anniversary at the Ice House at 8:00 next Wednesday.
Yes.
Right? Next Wednesday, the 12th.
Yes.
So everyone go out and support our buddy Mike Robles because that show that he produced and put on Que Locos, that's where Gabriel Fluffy got discovered. George hosted it, I think, the first season.
Yeah,
but
George
everybody,
Lopez,
all those guys that we just mentioned, from Rudy Moreno to Willie Barcena and Jeff and all those, everybody did it but me. But that might have been because he didn't like the way I pronounced Que Locos. I called it Q Locus. Okay. And he said he couldn't have me on if I couldn't pronounce it properly.
Anyway, but yeah, so that's going to be Wednesday, February 12th.
Somersaults? Anyway.
Wednesday, February 12th.
Next Wednesday, February 8 o'clock.
Ice
House, Pasadena, California.
Do you know anybody who's going to be on the lineup, or he hasn't announced it yet?
Well, he wants us to come down. You know, we're more than welcome to come down and do a spot.
I got to make sure I'm in town.
Yeah, right. I am. And then, but he's going to have a lot of the comics that were on originally. Man, I can't even remember. I saw some of the names, and it's slipping my mind right now. But either way, it's going to be a great show. And Mike Robles is a great guy, and he's funny, and he's an amazing dude, and he helped out a lot of Latino careers. Speaking of this, that kind of fits into what we're talking about because he got something on television way back. That was HBO, wasn't it?
No.
What was that on? No, what was that on? Shoot, Mike, tell me.
K Locos was, I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't CTV, was it?
No. It was before that. It was on some, was it on cable?
Not Telemundo.
No,
it was further. It was further along. I mean, it was.
I know
it was more mainstream than. Wasn't HBO?
Mm-mm.
Not Showtime. Not Showtime. No.
I can't remember.
Dude, I can't remember either. All right,
it'll come to us. But anyway, regardless of what it aired on, enough people saw it to launch careers.
Yeah.
But even getting back to the need of, having diversity. Mike saw a void because BT Comic View was up and running and Def Comedy Jam.
I did BET,
and there was nothing for Latino comics, and Mike having the vision to go, you know what? Let's put, a Latino show together. That really helped a lot of Latino comics, help them get work, help them get exposure.
Sure did. Yeah.
So Mike Robles, salute to you, my brother. And that's next Wednesday, February 12th, Ice House in Pasadena, 8:00 show, the 20th year anniversary of K-Locos. And proud of you,
somebody
brother.
like Mikey, that's somebody that we in the Latino community, we like to call him a trailblazer, bro. You guys hear me? I said a trailblazer, eh?
So shout out.
And also, we missed it earlier, but I might put you. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'll put you on the spot. But when you were talking about the black astronaut, it made me think of your black astronaut bit.
Oh, well,
would you do just a little bit when the brother comes back?
You put me on the spot because I got to remember the beats of it.
He lands and then he's like, "Man, Mars was hotter than motherfucker."
Yeah. What Jupiter?
Oh, Jupiter.
Yeah, I go, shit.
No worries.
Wait.
I don't want.
If I was an astronaut, everybody would know because I walk into the club with my suit on.
That's right. That's right.
And then I walk into the club with my suit on.
Oh, that's what it is. You're in the club.
And then I take my helmet out and go, ha, 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 woo, Jupiter was hot in the motherfucker. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you also
I would act the whole thing out.
Because he had the big astronaut shoes and the whole. He's in the bar going like hopping.
Yeah.
Ruben would hop and then he. Remember you'd do the breathing like the Darth Vader, and then he'd say like, "Woo, Jupiter, hot in the motherfucker."
And then I go, bartender, let me get a Hennessy and Tang, please.
Tang.
Man, that joke used to kill.
Yeah, you know what? Is Tang even around anymore?
Darren Carter, Galavision. That's what it was on.
I feel like it was on something other than that.
Nah, man.
There something a little more mainstream than that? Was that
was
it, Darren?
Yeah.
Darren probably did it.
Yeah, no, of course Darren did it.
Yeah, Darren would always do the Latino tapings, and I blame him for me not getting on because Darren had more Mexican material than me. And they were like, "We love Darren." I was like, "I can do it too." And they'd all be like, "But Darren has a lot of Mexican material." And Darren's walking around like that as a redheaded white dude. Like,
but to Darren's
what
credit,
an insult, man.
But to Darren's credit, Darren spent a lot of time, way more time than you did with Latino people, with Mexicans. So his material.
So he says. I've done some research.
His material.
Listen, he expanded.
Darren's material came from his experience, all the Rooster stuff. I mean, just great stuff.
Yeah, I did a little background check in Fresno. He doesn't know about this, but he kind of expanded a little bit on that. He had two. There were two Mexican guys that he knew. That was
I remember doing a gig with Darren years ago in Fresno.
Oh, Butch Slancha.
Hey, Butch Bradley. Shout out Butch Bradley.
Shout out. Whisper out to Butch Bradley, and more importantly, his History Month is coming up. St. Patrick's Day. Well, it's History Day for Slancha.
Okay, too much. Yeah, Darren just put the rooster up. Yeah, but
oh man,
Darren,
man, get out.
I used to love all that.
Taking
material.
my spots from me.
Anyway,
on TV.
Really used to love all that material, man. It was really cool.
Oh, really? Even though he only knew two Mexican dudes, it was all a big.
Whatever,
he made it all.
Darren
up.
grew up in that environment, and he used to get terrorized by the Latinos, just like I used to have to take shit from them. But anyway.
Hey, I got shit from the Portuguese, from all the Portuguese.
But you are Portuguese.
But we didn't know that then.
But now you knew something
then
was
they
missing.
all thought I was 100% Mexican.
You knew something was missing though, and I think they knew something was missing too.
Well, the Mexicans definitely did.
Anyway, we got to get out of here.
Oh yeah, we got to get out.
But dude,
all right. Well, listen. Real quick,
we're gonna celebrate the whole month. I'm gonna drop facts the whole month.
Any Oscar picks and even if it's a movie,
the Oscars are this week.
Even
man.
if it's a movie you haven't watched, or an actor, an actress, because sometimes you look at the nominees and you kind of go, well, I think they're gonna give it, but the best picture is always a tricky one. Yeah. Sometimes they throw that. Remember last year, Green Book, Book, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was. I can't remember which movie had all the heat. It's trippy because I'm going. It's almost like Jojo Rabbit could end up getting it, dude. Because it's one of those odd, different one that's
and Hollywood loves the story of Jewish oppression,
and it's making fun of Hitler and the whole and that Nazi movement. But I still have to see 1917.
Oh, it's really good. You have to see
Yeah.
that. And let me just say this before we go. I just really
There he goes. I knew three.
I know.
Taco Shop. That's right, Stan. Taco on Amazon. Watch it.
I just want to give Joaquin Phoenix a lot of credit for the speech that he made at the BAFTAs, which is the British equivalent to the Oscars, on how he called out the industry with lack of diversity.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have conversations with friends from other races and a lot of my white friends, and they get frustrated with the racism and they see what we deal with on a day-to-day. And it's like, what can we do? Like, it's so messed up. And it's white people, even though Joaquin isn't white, but he identifies as white.
Yeah.
White people need to speak out against racism. It can't just be black people, or it just can't be Latinos. It just can't be quote unquote minorities. Good people have to say something.
Right.
You know, you have to speak out when you see it. And the fact that Joaquin did it with the platform that he has, with in a position where he's the favorite to win Best Actor of his performance of the Joker, for him to really step to the forefront when he has the platform and not being scared to shy away, to look at everybody in that room, all those white faces, and to say what he had to say is commendable. And much respect to Joaquin Phoenix for doing
and
that.
he's sort of he's sort of an honorary adopted Latino, because he's got, you know, Joaquin, and then Phoenix. There's a lot of Latinos in Phoenix.
Yeah, but just to speak out, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
is just
But
which is not easy to do.
No, and
Because most don't.
of course,
Yeah.
But he's always been against the grain anyway. I mean, he's always done his own thing. The only thing I'm upset with the Oscars is that Little Joker got snubbed, and that's, I mean,
I don't know. To be honest with you, as the years go by with the lack of inclusion, I'm less and less excited.
oh
about
yeah,
the
it's
Oscars.
not as exciting as
You know what I mean?
It could be way more
It's
exciting.
just like watching, you know, probably how it was watching baseball years ago when they had the Negro Leagues. It's like, you know, you have all these great baseball players over here that are not participating.
sure.
So are you really seeing the best brand of baseball? And I just think the lack of inclusion of minorities and women in the Oscars is, you know, it's their award show, and we shouldn't let that validate us. But we should be recognized if that's going to be the industry standard. If we're going to hold this award show as the industry standard, everyone should be inclusive, and there needs to be, again, different representation in the people who
it
are
should
making
look
the
like
decisions.
the Ruby Tuesdays with actors.
You got to have people in there making
Just to make sure
decisions.
you do white,
because
there's
we all
whites
have
and-
different tastes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even as something as recognizing comedies. You know, the Oscars don't really recognize comedies. And who's to say comedic acting is not easy to do, man? To be funny in a
It's
movie,
harder than dramatic acting.
and to be
Even
funny,
dramatic actors that get in the comedy go, oh my God, I'll just stick with the dramatic.
but comedy is not respected, man. And I
know.
think you need somebody in the room to go, hey guys, this is a great performance. You know, to be able to carry a film, because what's the thing that say, man, this is the best comedy? Like, it's hard to make a good comedy. There's not a lot of great
It's hard
comedies.
to
It's
make a
hard,
good comedy.
man.
And a lot of them we're talking good comedies. We're not talking about toilet humor and farts and all that kind of shit. We're talking about good comedies that are just well done, and they're very few and far between
Very few.
anymore.
And you know what's interesting, Johnny? There's so few good comedies that when there is a really good comedy, it absolutely explodes.
Yeah.
Like it's not just it's a huge film.
Yeah.
You know, even if you think back to like American Pie,
Sure.
or you know what Girl Trip did for Tiffany, or you know just some of the
or Bridesmaids.
or Bridesmaids,
You know what I mean?
or how Jim Carrey's career exploded. Like it's, you know, comedies are not easy to do, and I just wish the Oscars would celebrate. Like a lot of Eddie Murphy's movies, you know, were just really funny and #1 at the box office. But we can go on and on and on.
Well, we're working on our film. So you guys get it. Mango and Salsa, the cop team, right? We're not doing it.
You know what?
We're not gonna
we
do
should talk about
Mango and Salsa?
Mango and Salsa.
Credit that KT Tatara,
Yeah.
who has always called us Mango and Salsa.
Coming to a theater near you,
Yeah,
guys.
two not cops, because that's been done. Not detectives, that's been done. 2 security guards,
So anyway, guys,
Mango and Salsa.
we are out of here. Love one another. Treat each other with
Yeah,
respect.
and yes. Remember, each day's each day could be your last.
Each
So
day can be your last,
call
man.
your family, tell them you love you, man.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, see?
But celebrate life, guys, because life is precious and it can be taken away at any time. So
That's correct.
give people their flowers when they're alive. And if you have a problem with somebody, just really think about it. Is it worth it if they were gone tomorrow?
Yeah, that's right. Squash it. That's to
Damn, man. Isn't that crazy sometimes when traumatic things happen and you go, damn, man, it's so petty. What am I really
what
upset
am I
about?
even upset? Why
You
am
know?
I mean, now, I mean, this happens a lot. It's not just because of just what happened with the tragedy, but, there are times I I used to wake up in the morning always going, oh, I got to do this today. Now I'm like, oh,
I get to do this today.
I get to do all this stuff today. I woke up. It's,
Yeah. And every day you wake up, man, you have an opportunity to make your life better. So
Yeah,
get out.
Stan, the man, Felton.
Yeah. And get
Thanks,
get out and do
brother.
it. Thank you, Stan. So we're out of here. So Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can
YouTube,
get YouTube, wherever you can get podcasts.
flea market.
And do me a favor, guys. Please share because I'm trying to get it out.
I'm sorry.
Share the podcast. It really helps if you share and tell people about the podcast. That will help me and Johnny tremendously. So if you enjoy the podcast, please tell a friend. Write a review on iTunes. It just helps to get the word out there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So thank you
Thank you
guys.
all.
All right.
Thank you.
Ruby motherfucking Tuesdays.
This show is all about diversity and bringing everyone together. You never know who you're going to see at Ruby Tuesdays.